Here's a really important idea for us, and this is the notion that character is fate, that your character is your fate. That is to say, your character will shape how your life goes. It's a pretty obvious thing. I've spoken in other videos about your philosophy of life, which is your set of beliefs, perspectives, mindset, and how that shapes how you experience the world, but also what kind of person you become over time, and also what your life looks like over time. That's at the level of your beliefs, your perspective. To speak of character is to speak at the level of your ethical orientation to life, to the world, to others, to yourself. Your ethical orientation and the actions, and importantly, the actions, the habits and actions that you perform that are your ethical orientation. Because character is an active thing. It's the traits and habits that you act out. So your character is fate. Now, a lot of people, and actually quite a number of friends of mine have, due to the philosophies we've read over the years, have wanted to reject this. There are no fruits of character. And partly they've wanted to reject it in order to emphasize the power of misfortune, a tragic perspective of life. Because too often people lack a tragic perspective of life and imagine that technology or personal effort will make everything right. And that can be an appalling philosophy, because it means if things go wrong for people that it's their fault. You blame the victim. And I think that's why people are motivated to critique the notion of character as fate, or any voluntarism, as they call it. They want to really... it's a compassionate and just perspective to recognise the power of misfortune in people's lives. That you can walk around the corner and suddenly you get hit by a bus. No fault of your own, you're doing everything right, and your life is different and worse. Okay, it's vitally important to recognise that, but the problem here is that we just go to one extreme. There are these bipolarities in life, these poles that we exist between, and the answer often is that we need to find a middle ground, a golden mean, as Aristotle would have called it, or the Buddha spoke of the middle ground as well. Or another way of thinking about this, which is a bit more like the Hegelian, the philosopher Hegel, the Hegelian way, which is a synthesis of the two, blend the two, and blend them in different ways in different contexts. But this, so what we need to do here is it's not simply that we are victims of misfortune or victims of chance, whether it's good fortune or bad fortune, that we're just passive victims of it. Things just happen to us, and that's all there is to it. That's not true. If you're insisting that's all there is, that's untrue. If you're insisting that everything is within our power, and that life is just simplistically a consequence of our character, and our character is something completely in the power of our will, then you're also wrong. That's the other extreme. They're both half-truths, and to get whole truths you need to blend the two. So it is true that character is fate. It's true that character is fate, and also that life is tragic, and that misfortune can knock down the best of us. And harm us in all sorts of ways, including harm our spirits, make people worse. Because of the degree of misfortune that hit a good person, that person becomes angry or cruel or bitter. That happens too. It's tragedy. That's why we use the word tragic. Okay, so the character is fate. And there are fruits to your character, to use another phrase. And I've had friends absolutely deny that. In fact, the people I've witnessed who really denied that, who really wanted to insist on the power of fortune, chance, luck, have often been the people who have been most appalling in their behaviour to friends, to partners. So it's often actually a rationalisation. It's a way the person, it's an excuse a person makes to take no responsibility for their actions and to get away with appalling actions. And they want to deny that there are fruits of character because they don't want to believe that will come back to them in some way. And I don't think it'll come back in some karmic way. I don't believe in karma. But it does come back just in the sense of it changes who you are and your life becomes less. You can suffer more by being kinder and more open, but also life is richer and more beautiful. It's kind of like an intrinsic thing. There may be no extrinsic rewards, although I think there often are rewards and punishments, but certainly there are intrinsic rewards and punishments of being a decent person and an open person. This gets complex. But the denial that character is fate is false. And we deny it often because for shoddy reasons. And or we deny it because we want to emphasize compassion and tragedy, but we're being a bit blind then. We're buying into a half-truth. Why not buy into the whole truth? So this is a really important reason to take your character seriously, which means taking seriously all the small decisions you face and what kind of person that makes you into ethically. Because there are fruits of your actions and you may not see them. Good fruits and bad fruits. So we really want to take that seriously. We live with blindfolds on about the future. We don't see what's coming. We don't see what kind of people we're becoming often. But we can create a far better future for ourselves by becoming far better people. I guess that's the essence of it.